Hi, I'm Stacy Hyde and I'm back with another episode of Better Financial Health in 15 Minutes or Less. Well, fall is in the air. It's actually been wonderfully pleasant, but that also brings us to something that happens this time of year and on into the fall, depending on the size of your company, and that's open enrollment. That's the time where you get all the information from HR telling you that if you don't sign up for benefits, you're not going to have benefits, or you're going to have the same thing from last year and you need to pay attention. And also with everything that's gone on with the COVID pandemic, and there's been a lot of change in the healthcare marketplace. So you really need to take a look at what's going to work best for you and your situation. Many large employers will offer you the option to have a higher premium and lower out-of-pocket cost, maybe lower deductibles, co-pays for doctor's visits, or a higher deductible plan that you could pair with the health savings account and bigger out-of-pockets. So it's a trade-off between, do you want higher premiums every paycheck, or do you want lower premiums every paycheck but the risk of having higher out-of-pockets? And you really have to look at your situation, because maybe you're going to start a family, or you've got some major surgeries coming up. Well, you may want to take the higher premium and lower out-of-pockets because you know that's coming. If you do take the high deductible plan, as they're often called, and I would definitely encourage you to put money in the health savings account, because unlike a traditional flex spending account, health savings accounts can carry over from one year to the next. So there's no requirement that you use the money that you put in there. You will save federal taxes on that, state income taxes if you're subject to them, and FICA taxes on the money you use to put in your health savings account. And some people look at this as additional tax-free savings because you put the money in. As long as you pull it out for healthcare, and this could even be after you're retired, you could use it to pay Medicare premiums, Medicare supplements, or if you're hoping to retire early before Medicare, you could use tax-free distributions from a health savings account to pay COBRA premiums, to pay your health insurance premiums that you purchase from the exchange. So there's a lot of good things you can do with it, as well as just helping you cash flow wise pay your out-of-pockets for healthcare, because we see oftentimes that people are doing pretty well with saving and budgeting and emergency funds, and then they have some big health issue and that causes them to run up credit card debt, that sort of thing. So health savings accounts are great if you're eligible. You have to have a qualifying high deductible plan. If your plan is not one but you have a flex spending account, those are more limited, and you do have to use them up by the end of the year. There is an option, it is optional for employers, to allow employees to roll over $500 from one year to the next. And we're starting to see that be more common, the rollover feature, because as you can imagine, it's very popular for employees to not have to worry about losing those dollars. But also take a look at your other benefits. If long-term disability is an optional benefit for you and you haven't elected it, I would definitely tell you to select that in most all cases, because for many people, getting sick and not being able to work, whether due to accident or a diagnosis such as cancer or something, is really their greatest risk as far as being financially secure. So having those that disability come in can be very helpful. Also look at what you selected. Maybe you've just really never paid much attention. You've just said, yes, I'll take it. But maybe the life insurance oftentimes starts getting much more expensive as you get older. You may not need as much because your family may be all grown and you're getting closer to retirement. Well, then why do you need to be spending a couple $1,000s a year on life insurance premiums when you've almost set aside enough money that you've said, I'm not going to need to work anymore because I've got enough money to fund the rest of my life. So that would mean that you could free up those dollars for a vacation or additional retirement savings. The reverse is also true. If you're young and started a family and you don't have any life insurance, you may want to see what's available, check the pricing through your employer, but also check with your financial planner, or you can do it online to get a quote for term life insurance. It's very inexpensive at younger ages for healthy people. I recommend 20-year level term. I'll often say, get $1 million or at least 500,000, and people are like, wow, that's a lot. I'm like, yes, but if you're not here and you've got, a spouse and 2 young children, then that's going to take money to pay off bills, to educate them, and just to make sure that they can continue the same standard of living. So I think that's important to look at there. The life insurance, the disability, have you started wearing glasses, and is vision insurance an option? Take a look at that. It's also a good time to take a look at your 401k and see if your employer does a per pay period match. You want to make sure that whatever amount you decide to put in will go in for the full year, so you don't miss out on some of those matching dollars. The other thing is, if you think you can increase the amount you're putting in, no one has ever complained about getting to retirement and having too much saved. I've never actually heard that as a complaint. The complaint I've heard is, I wish I had started doing this so much sooner. So since you can't go back in time, the best time to start is now, and open enrollment while you're looking at your other benefits is a good time to do that. But definitely take a little bit, and if you've got 2 spouses, definitely look to see, because some companies, offer it free for employees, but then they charge you higher amounts to cover a spouse or children, and some also subsidize those premiums. So you definitely want to look to see what's going to make the most sense and how you marry those together. For years, my husband and I would go through this, and we'd lay them out, and it oftentimes worked out to where he covered himself and the kids, and I covered me, and then there were years where it switched. But we just had to look at it on a year-by-year basis. So it's worth taking the time to do that. And if you know that you've got big, expensive medical stuff and you have the option to double cover, you may save yourself, but you want to find out from your employer how they look at that. Some employers now, if you have a spouse that is offered coverage through their job, they will not allow that spouse to be covered. So that we're seeing that more and more often. So it's not even an option to have double coverage in that situation. But definitely take the time to do it. It's never, fun to think about that sort of thing. You'll save yourself a lot of time and energy and financial pain by doing it now and taking advantage of it. And if you haven't had your physical this year, it's a good time to go ahead and do that, just to make sure everything's okay. And that can, if you get your physical and the doctor tells you that's great, I don't need anything for next year, well, then you can sign up for a less expensive health plan. If they say, we've got to have you back in for this, this, and this, well, that may tell you that maybe you want the lower out-of-pocket cost plan next year. So just things to consider as you're getting all those emails from HR. Don't miss your deadlines, and enjoy this beautiful fall weather. This has been another episode of Better Financial Health in 15 Minutes or Less.